At a kitchen table at 11 o'clock at night, the math becomes brutally simple. Your phone is open to your bank app. Paper bills are stacked beside it. A calculator sits there even though you already know the answer. Rent is $312 past due. The electric bill has a final notice stamped on it. The car needs a serpentine belt, and without the car, you do not get to work. Your bank account says $310. 4 problems, $310. No solution covers everything, so you do what people in this position do every month. You triage. You decide which bill gets paid, which one waits a week, and which one turns into a shutoff notice, an overdraft fee, or a collection call you will not answer. This is not a crisis. This is Tuesday. Financial triage is the right word for this life. In a hospital, triage means deciding who needs care first based on who can wait and who cannot. You are not trying to heal everyone. You are trying to prevent the worst outcome with limited resources. That is exactly what happens at that kitchen table. Every bill is a patient. Every dollar is a unit of care. There are never enough units. The electric company gives you 14 days before shut off. The landlord waits 1 more week before sending the formal notice. The car can probably make it another 100 miles before the belt snaps. The prescription has sat on the counter for 11 days because the copay is $40 and that money is not there. You know where the prescription is. You just cannot get to it yet. The math keeps running at work, at dinner, and in bed. It is a low hum under everything. The math is exhausting. The humiliation is worse. You are at the grocery store. You check the numbers before you got in line. The cart costs $62. You have $68 in checking. That should be fine. Then you remember the gym membership you canceled 3 months ago billed again this morning. The cashier runs your card. 12 people are behind you. The machine beeps and shows the word you dread, declined. You stand there handing things back, saying you forgot the orange juice. Actually, you are fine without the pasta, trying to look casual while your groceries shrink in front of strangers. Then comes the overdraft fee. $35 for a $12 automatic charge. The fee is nearly 3 times the purchase that caused it. Now that fee has stolen money meant for something else, and the next triage decision is already broken. That is how the gap widens, not from one catastrophe, from $35 disappearing because the math was wrong by 12. This pressure is not only a money problem, it is a cognitive one. Every decision carries maximum weight when there is no buffer. Buying coffee is a calculation. Choosing a longer route to save gas is a calculation. Letting your kid go on the school field trip is a calculation. Researchers who study scarcity have found something many people recognize from lived experience. When your mind is consumed by survival math, less capacity remains for everything else. Not because you are less intelligent, because triage is always running and it uses the bandwidth other people spend elsewhere. Someone with savings can hear that the car needs a repair and say, okay, I will deal with that this weekend. Someone without savings hears the same news and starts mapping the whole cascade at once. Which bill loses its payment, whether the repair can wait, what happens to work if the car stops, how far behind they fall if they miss 2 shifts. The repair is not just a repair, it is a chain reaction. And you have to model it immediately, in the middle of everything else. That is what survival mode does to the mind. It never fully turns off. After all of that, you stop at a gas station on the way home from a second shift. You buy a 32-ounce coffee because you have 4 more hours before sleep. At the counter, almost without thinking, you also buy a lottery ticket. $2, a quick pick for the weekend drawing. The cashier slides it across the counter. You fold it into your jacket pocket without looking at it. People will say that buying a lottery ticket when you cannot afford to is irrational. The odds are terrible. The money is wasted. Mathematically, that is true, but it misses the point. For the next 48 hours, the ticket gives your mind a small place to live that is not inside the triage. The bills are still there, but the story changes for a moment. The serpentine belt is paid for. The electric bill has a zero balance. You wake up on Saturday and the first thought is not what is late. The ticket does not really cost $2. It buys a temporary suspension of the pressure. For people in survival mode, that relief is one of the few affordable forms available. They do not buy a ticket because they expect to win. They buy it because for a couple of days, they are allowed to imagine they might. The ticket wins, not $5, a real winner, enough to change the immediate math completely. The moment does not look like a movie. There is no jump, no scream, no dramatic phone call. There's a long, quiet pause while your brain tries to process a number it has no framework for. Your financial life has been built around not enough, and now the screen says something else. Before excitement, the old habit returns. The triage math runs one more time. This time, everything fits. Then the first real decision appears. Pay the electric bill, then the past due rent, then the serpentine belt, which costs $380 and gets fixed in 45 minutes. Pick up the prescription. Buy groceries without checking the register. These are not glamorous purchases. They are not Instagram moments. But for someone who has been triaging for months, each one is a huge relief. The overdraft account goes to zero. The collection number stops calling. The stack of paper bills on the kitchen table gets smaller, then gone. Windfall money does not start with luxury. It starts by stopping the damage. Once the bills are paid and the car runs and the prescription is filled, something harder to explain begins. The triage math turns off. Not for a few hours the way the lottery ticket did, actually off. For the first time in years, the morning arrives without dread attached to it. You wake up and your first thought is not what is late, who called, or which bill loses this week. You wake up and there is just the morning. That is not a small thing. Most people never notice the cost of constant arithmetic because they have never lived without it. When it lifts, the space it leaves behind is remarkable. You can make a decision during the day without running the numbers first. Someone asks if you want to go somewhere, get something, do something, and you can say yes without checking whether yes fits this week. You can handle a small surprise expense like a parking ticket or a broken phone screen without it starting a cascade. That is what financial margin feels like at ground level. Not luxury, not wealth. Room, actual room. There is a complication, though, people notice. A relative you have not heard from in 8 months calls, and you can tell in seconds that they know. A friend asks if you can help with something. The requests come wrapped in family and loyalty, but the message underneath is clear. You have resources now. Sandra Hayes, a factory worker in Missouri who was part of a group that split a $224 million prize in 2006, described the people who came after her as vampires. The word fits. Not because people are evil, but because the dynamic changes. You go from invisible to visible. The breathing room is real. It also brings new weight. This story is about the cost of living without a buffer. Every day inside survival mode, your cognitive and emotional capacity gets used up by one relentless job: keeping the cascade from happening, keeping the shutoff away, keeping the fees from compounding, keeping the car alive long enough to get to work. That job is constant, and it quietly drains you in ways other people may never see. The windfall did not make this person a different person. It did not change their judgment, values, or intelligence. It removed the system that was consuming them. It gave back the mental space that triage had occupied. In that space, something becomes possible that survival mode rarely allows: thinking past tomorrow. Making a decision because it is right, not just because it prevents a disaster. Sitting at a kitchen table and not running the numbers because, for once, the numbers are fine. No one builds a life around a $2 quick pick. But for someone with no margin and no exit, it can feel like the only affordable hope. And this one time, the hope came true. Same kitchen table, same chair, same person. Just, at last, no math required.